What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We have so much going on right now. I don't even know where to even start. We have body panels over there. We have bumper here. We have taped off bumper there. Been a crazy Saturday morning. We got carbon fiber here. We got carbon fiber inside. We got carbon fiber everywhere. So we are working on everything under the sun, guys. So we are in crunch mode for Wekfest, and we have a lot to do in a little time. We have, as you can see, my makeshift ghetto paint booth going on. We need to touch up the rear bumper on the M3, and because of the whole trunk setup, we can't pull the bumper off easily, and I'm not wasting time pulling the whole bumper off. So everything is taped up. We're gonna throw all our drop cloths and everything when we're ready to paint, but right now we're just sanding. We are sanding and working on a few different things. So you saw our first go at the fog light thing. Well, this thing was the prototype and didn't work right. It's too bulky, so throwing that away. So we're working on a new one right now. We also have to sand our center console so we can put that in. I started pulling that one last night, so we gotta pull that one, put that one on, finish this, carbon fiber that, finish the carbon fiber in there, get everything ready for paint. So once I pop off the paint, we can only paint for so long, so I want to paint as many things as I can with one can. So we will get to working. Let's get to it. We got a lot to do, and Red Bull is gonna get us through it all. I'm not gonna walk you guys through this process, but I am gonna set you up here for a second on this. Oh, hang on. I thought I was. Alright, maybe I am. There we go. So, as you see, we already started spot sanding everything. So what I did was I hit it first with a 180 grit. Then I'm going to hit it with some 800 grit to knock down all those scratches, scuff everything up, and then we're going to prime those spots. And then once we're ready with the bumper and everything else, we are going to paint everything. But just going to sand this 800 grit, as you can see, red everywhere, and we'll get it going. So, bumper is spot primed. We are letting that dry. This bumper is slightly sanded. We need to spot prime that. Clear coating stuff, and we are about to spray some clear coat on our carbon fiber lip pieces. So let's get that sprayed so it can start drying, because once the clear coat's down on that, then we can put the lip back together, and the lip can go on the bumper, but the bumper has to be painted first. So let's get to it and keep going. Been busy, haven't really been filming, but we have our rear felony form panels all wet sanded and all the little dings and scratches fixed. The front bumper is laid up, and I just finished wet sanding it with 800 grit. Carbon fiber is clear coated and waiting on it to dry. We are now back on the actual bumper, and what we're doing here is, as you can see, we are wet sanding with 800 grit. So we did 2 layers of primer, and now we are sanding down the whole bumper with 800 grit. We're gonna dry it off, make sure that we have no imperfections, everything looks smooth. Then we're gonna sand it with 1000. If we have imperfections, we're gonna hit it one more time with some primer. Then we'll hit it with 1000, smooth it all down, and get it ready for paint. And we're gonna paint this, the front bumper, and the 2 rear panels all at once with 1 can of paint. Words, I don't know. We have all our panels set up in the backyard, as you can see. Makeshift. It's ghetto. Dust gets in it, but it's the only way I can paint. We have the rear bumper ready to go as well. So we have our can of paint that we are going to pop off, and we are going to spray one coat on everything with that one can. And then whatever's left of that can, we'll do the small panels, the 2 small front panels, and then the other can will bust out, and then we'll do the rest of the stuff when it's ready for coat number 2. But we also have all our carbon fiber work over here. Moving ahead, we got some projects going on right there, as you can see. Those are ready for clear, so I need to clear coat those here in a little bit. But I'm gonna paint these first while the sun is out and it's semi-good temperature so that they can start tacking up. Once they do, then we're gonna push all this stuff off to the side and we're gonna set everything here on the ground so that it can cure and dry overnight. Usually takes about 16 hours total till you can touch it, but we'll get all that going. But let's start and let's get it painted. So we have our first coat on everything, as you can see. It's your first light coat, and then your second coat is a lot heavier and darker, and it covers a lot more. But as you can see, looks pretty good. That one can did not do as much as I thought it did. So that was just the first can. Did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 panels, 1 coat. Still didn't paint the bumper. So I'm going to have to go get another can sometime this week, and I'll have to paint the bumper separately after this stuff. So I'm gonna use my second can to coat all of this a second time once that tacks up and gets real nice. And then the second can is gonna be for all that, and then I'll have to buy a whole separate can to do the rear bumper. So I'll have to swing by tomorrow or sometime, either after work or sometime, and grab a whole nother can and paint that this week, because that's not gonna get painted with that can. For some reason, that can did not go as far as I used to know that it went. But also, I only got 2 cans because I was only gonna paint the bumpers. Then I decided to paint the whole body kit. So that's on me. So let's let that cure. I'm gonna work on some other stuff. We'll be right back. As you can see, we have all our panels painted, and they look absolutely fantastic. They're super glassy. Not a lot of trash in them, thank goodness. It wasn't really a windy day today, so that was good. But we're gonna let that cure, set up, and then in the next couple days we'll wet sand that, and then I'm gonna pick up some more paint. We're gonna do that bumper, and what we're gonna do now is we clear coated our little side wing things. We are now going to sand these 2 pieces, sand these, clean these up, get those ready, because we need to clear coat and do all that. And then one other thing we have to do, we need to remake this piece off of the exhaust. I have this spare piece, but I found a whole bunch of other ones here. I think those are for the rear diffuser, but I have a whole bunch of these pieces here. So we might clean one of these up and make a new panel. Yeah, we got enough room for right there on that one. Perfect. So we'll clean that up, mark this out, and we'll cut that. Bumper's primed. All these panels are painted. We are now working on the center console for my car. So, as you know, I did this blank piece across the front. I did that for a reason. So we have a switch panel. So as you know, I had a switch panel before in my old one, but when I was taking that apart, that whole switch panel literally disintegrated. All the switches on the back, everything kind of just fried. So, got a new one, and this one is all pre-wired. It looks good. It's got our voltmeter. It's got our USB. It's got 12 volts. It's got all that stuff. So this is going to fit right there. So you see that opening? Got to cut that. We'll slide this in. We'll screw it down, and that is how that mounts. That's it. So we need to cut this, which we have the Dremel. And that. So let's get this thing cut so that we can put the switch panel in so that we can finally actually install it all. Because I've been waiting to install this. I gotta see it, what it looks like inside the car. So let's get this cut so we can put it in. So this just turned into a shit show. In this video, it's gonna be nuts, 2 parts, Wekfest prep. Always something happens before Wekfest. It always happens. Can't prevent it. So you saw us paint all of our body panels over here that you see. And we painted our bumpers and everything. I don't know if you can see that from here, but the red is the wrong shade. So we had the company make the paint, and I've never had an issue with them before, like on paint matching. I've painted a ton of stuff. For some reason, this paint is a shade darker.